everyone, I'm Brad and this is Watch, Rate, Heart. And this is a special video. For the past couple of days, I've released videos talking about the best in 1995 films. But I talked about the best performances, the best direction, and best writing. Today, I'm talking about what I think are my favorite films from 1995. Throughout my life, I've watched over 120 films from 1995, and a lot of them I watched this year. I also rewatched a bunch of 1995 films just to see if I have felt differently about the films that I have rated before, and I think I've got a very interesting list here. So with my top 10, the only film that got 4 stars was my number 10 film. The rest were all 4.5, and I've got one 5-star film amongst them, and you can probably guess the 5 stars number 1. So that kind of spoils that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight a bunch of films from 1995 that I think I should talk about. Plus, I will tell you the 4-star honorable mentions that I watched of all the films from 1995. So, what are we waiting for? Let's get started with my number 10 film. And number 10 is La Haine, directed by Matthew Kassovitz. When I watched La Haine this year, I didn't even know I was actually going to do a list of 1995 films. And then when I realized this was a film from 1995, I was certain it was going to be in my top 10. Now, I thought it was going to be a little bit deeper in the top 10, but then when I started watching a bunch of other films, I was really surprised with the depth of what 1995 had. But La Haine is a very interesting and very powerful film. But not only is it powerful because the performances, especially by Vincent Cassel, who he also honored in the Best Actor category this year when it came to the 1995 films, but also it has kind of a dark sense of humor to it that I actually appreciated, and the black and white cinematography in the film is also beautiful. Now, La Haine did not get a lot of traction when it came out in 1995, but as the years have gone by, a lot of people have seen this and adored this film, and I can definitely understand why. Beautiful cinematography and the great performances really highlight what makes La Haine so great. So, La Haine is number 10. Let's get into my first highlighted film, and this one is a film that, honestly, I can't stand, and I'm going to explain why, finally, and that is The Usual Suspects, directed by Bryan Singer. I gave this a 0.5 star out of 5. Now, I know a lot of you are like, whoa. The Usual Suspects? That's an amazing movie. How could you hate The Usual Suspects? I hate it for one specific reason. It wasted my time. Now, a lot of you are going to say, well, isn't watching film a waste of time in itself? No, let me explain. If the film's twist is basically everything I watched in the first 90 minutes just did not happen and means nothing, it is a waste of time. I am floored by people who tell me, I've seen this film 5 or 6 times and I want to get different meaning. There's no meaning to the film other than the guy lied. What is this? This is crazy. I recognize there are good performances in the film and it does look good, but just for the fact that it just wasted my time with a twist that basically invalidated everything was enough for me to say, I hate this film. That is why I hate, and I have given such a low score to, The Usual Suspects. Now, with there, let's go to number 9, and that is Toy Story, directed by John Lasseter. That is the first fully computer animated feature film. And I can admit, Toy Story doesn't look as amazing as it once did. It does look dated by today's standards. That's because of how technology has advanced so much. But the main story and characters still work very well. I still think Toy Story is one of the best animated films Disney has ever produced, and Pixar as well. I like the characters, I like the voice actors as well, and yes, the human faces look creepy in a certain way, but I still very much enjoy Toy Story with its simple but yet touching narrative that I definitely enjoyed. So number 9 is Toy Story. Alright, let's get into number 8, which is The Bridges of Madison County, directed by Clint Eastwood. I was actually surprised I haven't seen this film before with my love of romantic films. And I think this film works so well because the two actors, Clint Eastwood and Meryl Streep, just work very well together. It's a very touching but simple narrative that honestly just works really well, and I think the reason why it doesn't get enough talk like films like Before Sunrise and stuff like that is because it's about older people and not about younger people. I think this is one of the more romantic films I've seen in a long time, and I think it deserves a lot more praise than it gets. So number 8, The Bridges of Madison County. Alright, so let's get into some of my 4-star honorable mentions here. And the first one I'm going to mention is The Celluloid Closet, which is a film about gayness and queerness in cinema from the beginning of cinema until around the 1995 era. Very interesting film. If you have not seen it, check it out. Crimson Tide is another one I want to mention. A really good action flick, exciting film, and it's exciting as well because it's really just in one location and it works really well. And it has 2 great performances by Gene Hackman and Denzel Washington, as well as a really good supporting cast. Babe is another 4-star mention. This used to be a top 10 film, but as I saw more films, it kind of went down to like a 4-star area. Still a very charming film, very sweet film. I still think with the special effects, with the mouths moving of the animals, still works to this day. An adorable film. I definitely still enjoy it. Get Shorty is another one that's a 4-star honorable mention. Get Shorty is a lot of fun. It's a very funny movie. Performances are great in the film. I especially like Gene Hackman in the film. I think he's really funny, but definitely if you have not seen it, check it out. And probably one of my most surprising films from watching 1995 films this year that I enjoyed is Paul Verhoeven's Showgirls. Like I said in my review, if you find yourself not liking this movie, I understand, but I ended up thoroughly enjoying it, despite the fact in the first 30 minutes I was like, oh, this looks like it's going to be a mess. But Paul Verhoeven and Joe Esterhouse's script really does a great job of not only showing the decaying mental faculties of the main character, but of the overly glossy lifestyle that he is in now. So I will have to say that another 4-star honorable mention is Showgirls. So let me get to another highlighted film, and that is Mallrats, directed by Kevin Smith. I gave this 1 star out of 5, and I know a lot of you are hearing that and going, how could you not like Mallrats? And I'm like, easily. I don't find it funny at all. I think it's a very weak Kevin Smith film. And I know some people are like, well, you can't take it too seriously. And yes, I do agree with that, but I don't think any of the comedy really works in the film, save for maybe a couple of scenes. Like the running joke with the seeing eye puzzle, I think was kind of humorous. And this is the first Kevin Smith film I watched, and I absolutely did not like it. So that made me not want to watch Clerks until I finally saw Chasing Amy and really liked it, and then went back to Clerks, which I think Clerks is fine. I know this is one of Kevin Smith's most celebrated films when it comes to his fans. It's probably one of my least liked films of his. So that is Mallrats. I've given it 1 star out of 5. Let's head to number 7, which is La Ceremony, directed by Claude Cabral. Now, I gave La Ceremony 4 stars out of 5 when I reviewed it this year. I bumped it up to a 4.5 out of 5 because I watched it again, and I was still incredibly surprised about how well they shot the tension in the film. I thought it was brilliant what they did with this. The lead actresses are really good in the film. Isabelle Huppert is incredible in this film. She is really good. I still think what happens at the end is still shocking, but just the way that the tension just keeps on rising was incredibly effective in this film. So number 7 for me, La Ceremony. So let's get into 2 highlighted films that I've watched. They both got 2 stars out of 5, and I reviewed them this year, which is Tank Girl, directed by Rachel Lalele, and Strange Days, directed by Catherine Bigelow. I'm going to start with Tank Girl real quick. I can see how Tank Girl could work. And there are things in that film that work very well, but something happened on the way from shooting to cutting the final film. Just kind of butchered the feel and the craziness of the entirety of the film. I do like Lori Petty in this film a great deal. I think she was perfect for the role. I just think everything else around it fell apart. But I feel the exact opposite for Strange Days. I was really looking forward to watching this. I've heard so many great things about it, and I was bored and disappointed. The only really good thing about the film is the interesting premise revolving around watching people's memories. I thought that was interesting, but then it just turned into a very standard crime narrative that just did not interest me at all. And even though the actors in this film are usually really good, I didn't like anyone's performances really at all in this. So those are 2-star films I wanted to highlight, which are Tank Girl and Strange Days. Number 6 is a film that I have loved for a long time, ever since I watched it in 96, and that is Sense and Sensibility, directed by Ang Lee. I still think this is probably one of the best Jane Austen adaptations. I think Clueless is up there as well, but this is definitely really good. All the performances are great. The adaptation that Emma Thompson made on this film was really well done, but man, do I love Kate Winslet and Alan Rickman in this film. If you like Jane Austen stories, or you like romances that are in that era, and you have not seen Sense and Sensibility yet, see it. It is an amazing film. I adore Sense and Sensibility. That is number 6. Now, before I get to the top 5, let's go to another highlighted film, and that is Mortal Kombat, directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, and that got a 2 stars out of 5 for me. And what's sad is, that is probably the best video game adaptation film from that decade. Even when I saw this in theaters when I was young, even I was like, this could have been a lot better. But it's campy fun in a certain sense, but the acting is bad, and some of the action sequences are not great either. And also the CG is also terrible. The spear coming out of Scorpion's hand is just awful looking. It's so bad. But it's good cheesy fun if you do want to enjoy it, but I am kind of not into it at all. So that's Mortal Kombat, directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, 2 stars out of 5. Let's get into the top 5. And number 5 is a film that I am so glad I watched this year, and that is Whisper of the Heart, directed by Yoshifumi Kondo. This is a Studio Ghibli film, and it's a film written by Hayao Miyazaki, but I just adore this film. It's honestly in my top 3 when it comes to my favorite films from Studio Ghibli. I think it's 2, because Spirited Away is 1, and I might just put Boy and the Heron 3, but this is such a sweet and touching film. There's not only the romance angle of this film, but there's also the whole story about an artist finding her way and finding what drives her to be an artist. Beautiful film. It's very cozy, very quaint in its way, but it is just a lovely film. And there is still one scene in the film that is in my head ever since I watched it to this very day. Number 5 for me is Whisper of the Heart. Let's get into another highlighted film, another 2-star film, and this is one that's going to anger some people, and I know it will, and that is Casino, directed by Martin Scorsese. I made sure I rewatched this film this year because I remember telling my friend who is really into Scorsese, I love Scorsese too, don't get me wrong, that he called it one of his favorite films of all time, which is Casino. And honestly, when I watched it in like 95, 96, I just thought it was boring at the end. So I thought maybe now that I am older now, in my 40s, I'll watch it again and maybe I will get what I missed. And all that rewatch did was just confirm exactly how I felt back then, which is that the first half is a really glossy looking Goodfellas retread. It is good for what it is. It is definitely enjoyable, but it is a Goodfellas retread. And then the second half is so dull and so boring and not interesting in the slightest. I just felt myself going, oh my god, is this over yet? When it gets to the point where Ace is having his TV show, where I'm like, oh my god, this could end. Please, just let it end. Really one of my most disappointing films from Scorsese. I still do not like this film at all. I understand why some people do. It is a gorgeous film at times, but I just simply did not enjoy Casino. So that is my highlighted film. 2 stars out of 5 for Casino. Number 4 is a film that was criminally underrated in 1995. I'm so glad it's getting its flowers now, and that is Safe, directed by Todd Haynes. This is a brilliant film. I love the hell out of Safe. If you go deep into my archives on this channel, you'll see a video essay that I tried to do for Safe called Personality Void. And it's an interpretation that I feel about what Safe is about in a certain way. And I still kind of think that to this day. I actually don't like the video anymore. But it just shows how brilliant Safe is because people have different interpretations of what this film is really about. But it's helped because the script by Todd Haynes is really good. But what is amazing in this film is the performance by Julianne Moore. She is incredible in this film. How did this performance not get any recognition in the awards circuit that year is beyond me. It is a fantastic performance, and even though it is fantastic, it may not even be her best performance. That's how great Julianne Moore is. She's amazing. I love Julianne Moore. But if you love Julianne Moore too and you have not seen Safe, you should. It is an amazing film. Check it out. Number 4, Safe. So let's get into the rest of the 4-star honorable mentions. We have Before Sunrise as one of the honorable mentions. I love Before Sunset. But even I will admit that without Before Sunrise, I don't think Before Sunset would be as amazing to me as it was. I like Before Sunset a great deal. I like the way that it is casual, but it has the sexual tension that's driving throughout the entire film. It's a great movie. I definitely enjoyed it. And honestly, if you are into romance films and you have not seen the Before trilogy, start with Before Sunrise. Get to it. Another honorable mention is 12 Monkeys, directed by Terry Gilliam. Very weird, but very interesting film. It has a great performance by Brad Pitt. I think he was great in the film, but Bruce Willis is great as well, and it's got this really labyrinthine, complex story that I definitely enjoyed. So 12 Monkeys is another one. Welcome to the Dollhouse is next. What an interesting and dark film this is. This is ostensibly a film about bullying, but instead of it being about how bad bullying is, it is a film that says, you know what? Some people kind of deserve it, actually. And Heather Matarazzo, as the main character, who's the one that gets bullied, has a fantastic performance in this film. It's a performance I really wanted to highlight in the top 5 performances of this year, but the performances from females were so stacked, I couldn't put her in there. But an amazing performance by a young actress, Heather Matarazzo, in Welcome to the Dollhouse. Ghost in the Shell. Okay, so Ghost in the Shell is important for one reason. Okay, first off, A great movie, great animated flick. If you have not seen it and you're into Japanese animation, you should see it. Probably have, though, so don't worry. Akira is the film that was released in the early 90s, I believe, in the US, that surprised moviegoers with what Japanese animation is. Ghost in the Shell proved that there was a market for it, that we could get more of these Japanese films and it could make money. That is not only because Ghost in the Shell is a beautiful looking film, it's also got a great story, and it's a very entertaining film. Great movie. You haven't seen it. Even if you are not into Japanese animation, you should check out Ghost in the Shell. Another 4-star honorable mention is Antonia's Line, a film that really surprised me. Because of how bad feminist stories are nowadays, when I heard this was a feminist fairy tale, I was like, oh no, this sounds terrible. Oh god. But I ended up really enjoying Antonia's Line. It's got a great performance by the lead actress. I think it's Wilke von Emelroy. I believe I got that wrong. But the direction by Marlene Goris is actually really good as well. And on top of that, it's a multi-generational film. It doesn't feel bloated or overlong. I would say this to anybody who wants to make a feminist movie or anything feminist at all in entertainment. You should watch this film first just to see how you can make a feminist movie but also have engaging characters and a good story behind it. So Antonia's Line, definitely an honorable mention. If I did a top 11, this movie would be my number 11, and that is To Die For, directed by Gus Van Sant. An excellent movie. I love this movie. It's got a dark, twisted sense of humor. It's got an amazing performance by Nicole Kidman, and it is just wickedly entertaining and funny throughout. If you have not seen this film and you like Gus Van Sant or you like Nicole Kidman or dark comedies, you should definitely see To Die For. Great movie. All right, we are down to our top 3 films of 1995. Number 3, Underground, directed by M.R. Kusturica. I was stunned when I watched this film. Not only is this film hilarious, but it's also brutal in its depiction with the tragic past of Yugoslavia. It's got great performances in the film, but I think the way that it blends comedy and drama is so well done and so crazy at times that even to this day, I'm still amazed that it works so well. Someone linked to me the TV series this is based off of. It's on YouTube. One day I am going to watch it because I am infinitely curious as to how they pull that off. But number 3 is Underground for me. Fantastic film. Loved it. Number 2, and this is the film that I never heard of, but end up adoring when I watched it. Number 2, Abarosi, directed by Hirokazu Koreeda. This film is beautiful in a number of ways, but it's also deeply moving and tragic. And it's just a film that I still think about to this day, not only because of the themes that are discussed, which is what to do when a loved one decides to leave this world and you're not even sure why he did. And it's also because of the performance of the film by Makiko Asumi. She does a fantastic job in this film. This is a performance that relies on what she doesn't do and what she does mostly with her face. It is a beautiful performance. It's a beautiful movie. And it's deeply tragic, though, but it's still beautiful in a number of ways. If you've not seen Maborosi, you should do yourself a favor and watch it. Number 2, Maborosi. That leaves us with 1. And number 1 is a film that, well, honestly, when I did this year, I don't think anything was ever going to top it, and nothing did. And that's Heat, directed by Michael Mann. Heat is a special movie. It is. It really is. It not only has great performances by Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, and Val Kilmer, but also has really tense action. It's a really good cop caper and a really good crime thriller. But it also has one of the best action scenes ever put in cinema. The bank heist scene in this film is amazing. It still is great to this very day. And it's why I still look forward to watching Michael Mann films, even though I've become very disappointed with his output recently. There's not much more I can say about Heat. Heat is an amazing film. And if you are an action fan and you are a crime thriller fan and you have not seen Heat, you should. Number 1 for 1995, Heat, directed by Michael Mann. So before I go, let me give you the best films of 1995 once again. Number 10, La Haine. Number 9, Toy Story. Number 8, The Bridges of Madison County. Number 7, La Ceremony. Number 6, Sense and Sensibility. Number 5, Whisper of the Heart. Number 4, Safe. Number 3, Underground. Number 2, Maborosi. And the best film of 1995, according to me, is Heat. I want to know what you think of my top 10 of 1995. I want to know what your favorite film of 1995 is. Let me know in the comment section, and I may use it in another video. I also want to mention there are some films I have not seen. I may not do another video for the best of 1995, but I may update the list on Letterboxd if I do watch it and then something has to change. But in the description, I will have the link to the list of my ranking of films from 1995. And that's all 120 plus films that I have watched, ranked. So check that out on Letterboxd if you are interested. You can follow me at Letterboxd and at X at Watch Rate Heart. Please like and subscribe and share with your friends. I'm Brad from Watch Rate Heart. Thank you for watching, and remember, we all watch and rate cinema, but you give them the heart that makes them live forever.